They say brilliance can be loud, a scream, a spotlight, a chest-pounding roar for attention, but sometimes brilliance whispers. Sometimes greatness arrives quietly, without needing chaos to prove its point. Sometimes the most powerful force in a stadium of roaring 50,000 is a man who barely raises his voice, yet commands the game like a king conducting an orchestra. Kevin De Bruyne, a player defined not by noise but by precision, not by showmanship but by mastery, not by drama but by destiny. By 2025, his name isn't just part of football, it lives inside its foundation. Long after the adrenaline fades and the confetti from title celebrations settles into memory, his legacy breathes in every assist. Every perfectly weighted pass, every moment a midfielder dares to dream of dictating a match with control so complete it borders on art. He didn't just play football, he engineered it. Like a master clockmaker building time, Kevin De Bruyne measured moments with his right foot, turning seconds into symphonies and space into opportunity. But genius rarely begins in comfort. His story didn't come wrapped in glittering academies or childhood fame. It began in Drongen, Belgium, quiet streets, modest life, a boy whose mind moved quicker than the world around him. Football wasn't just a game. It was clarity, rhythm, purpose. When others chased power, Kevin chased precision. When others sprinted blindly, he waited to see the invisible run no one else noticed. And even as a young boy, he was misunderstood, shy, reserved, difficult, they called him. They didn't know the truth. He simply spoke a language the world hadn't learned yet. He grew up analyzing, not shouting, planning, not posing. And the trials came early. Moving abroad for football, living with host families that didn't always understand his nature, being doubted, pushed aside, even rejected. When Chelsea let him go, many believed the story was over. But for Kevin, rejection wasn't a stop sign. It was a mirror. A chance to sharpen his edges, refine his hunger, and prove that the calmest storms can still break mountains. Fast forward to 2025, and that quiet kid from Belgium has become the conductor of a football dynasty, a man whose brain is valued like gold, whose touch is priceless, and whose feet painted eras. Manchester City's midfield wasn't just built around him, it dissolved without him. Coaches called him the modern-day midfield blueprint. Fans called him magician. Players, even rivals, called him a genius. But beyond the stadium lights, away from live broadcasts and trophies held under fireworks, lives the version of Kevin De Bruyne most don't see. The husband, the father, the man who values silence more than attention, family more than fame, legacy more than headlines. His wife, Michelle, stands beside him not in the shadow of his success, but as its heartbeat. They are not a couple manufactured for cameras. Theirs is a quietly powerful love, rooted in loyalty, in genuine connection, in building life not as celebrities, but as partners. For all his glory on the pitch, his eyes soften more at home, where football takes second place to fatherhood and love. The world sees the athlete, his family sees the human. The man who wakes up early not for cameras, but to take his children to school, to be present, to balance the weight of expectation with the simplicity of ordinary moments. Luxury surrounds them, yes, but they live with grounded elegance, not loud extravagance. Their homes are masterpieces, but warmth defines them more than marble or glass. And when the gates close and the outside world fades, Kevin becomes simply Dad, building Lego castles, reading bedtime stories, slipping into normality with the same calm grace he shows on the ball. Still, luxury is inescapable when excellence becomes a career. His cars? Precision machines chosen with taste, not noise, a Rolls-Royce for elegance, a Mercedes G-Wagon for power, a Range Rover for comfort. His lifestyle? Crafted like his passes. Thoughtful, intentional, quietly elite. This isn't fame chasing attention. This is success wearing a suit tailored to humility. And then there's legacy. In 2025, as whispers of his next chapter circulate, whether a new league, a final challenge, or a graceful descent into legend, one truth remains. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't fear time. He has already outrun it. His trophies, assists, and records will be archived in football history, but the way he changed the game, that lives forever. He didn't chase celebrity, he chased perfection, and he reached it. Tonight, we step inside his world. Not the highlight reels everyone sees, but the life success built around discipline, intelligence, love, and balance. From Belgium's quiet beginnings to Manchester's crown, from early doubts to global respect, from academy dreamer to midfield architect of a generation, this is the lifestyle, the legacy, the quiet empire of Kevin De Bruyne. The man who turned vision into victory and built a life as extraordinary as his football. This is greatness without volume, success without chaos, wealth without arrogance, genius without ego. This is Kevin De Bruyne. Greatness, when stripped of noise, reveals truth. And the truth about Kevin De Bruyne is simple. His superpower has always been clarity. Clarity on the pitch, where milliseconds separate genius from ordinary. Clarity in life, where values, not vanity, shape his world. In 2025, while the football universe debates transfers, tactics, and titles, Kevin moves with the quiet certainty of a man who has nothing left to prove, yet everything precious to protect: his legacy, his peace, his family. Luxury surrounds his life like a calm ocean, deep, precise, intentional, but it is never loud. Loud is temporary, loud fades. Kevin builds quiet permanence. Take his homes, not mansions merely purchased for headlines, but sanctuaries of taste, crafted for warmth, elegance, and privacy. His Cheshire estate near Manchester stands like his career, powerful yet refined, sophisticated without shouting. High gates guard sweeping lawns, where his children's laughter echoes stronger than any football chant. Inside, expansive rooms blend modern architecture with comforting simplicity. Soft tones, open spaces, floor-to-ceiling windows that let sunlight spill across polished stone floors. This is not the home of a man chasing attention. This is the home of a man who has earned peace. And then there's Belgium, his roots. His property there is a love letter to origin, to early dreams, to where it all began. Nestled in quiet Drongen, the home feels like a pause button on life. Nature hums softly outside. Family sits at the center. It is here Kevin escapes the noise of the world, not by hiding, but by returning to who he has always been. A grounded soul, a father, a husband, a man without pretense. When he walks those peaceful Belgian roads with Michelle and the kids, he isn't Kevin De Bruyne, the football icon. He's simply Kevin, the boy who dreamed and worked until the world finally learned his language. Michelle, the woman beside him, is elegance in human form. Not the kind of elegance manufactured for cameras, but the type forged in loyalty, character, and shared dreams. She has stood with him through the doubts and the triumphs, through injuries that tested his body and pressure that tested his mind. Their love isn't designed to impress. It's designed to endure. They build life like teammates, supportive, steady, united. For every trophy Kevin lifts, there are unseen nights of sacrifice, care, understanding, moments where love steadied ambition. And when he steps through the doors of their home, he exchanges the roar of stadiums for the soft hum of family. Bedtime stories, gentle routines, the irreplaceable rhythm of fatherhood. His children are his grounding force. They remind him that legacy isn't medals on a shelf, it's values passed through generations. He teaches them quietly, leading not with words but example, humility, work ethic, focus, kindness. He once mastered football spaces no one else saw. Now he masters life moments many athletes never fully live. brushing cereal crumbs from the table, tying tiny shoelaces before school runs, laughing at little jokes the world will never hear. In those moments, genius finds simplicity and loves it. But make no mistake, his success affords luxury, the kind that speaks softly but undeniably. His car collection, like his passes, is curated to perfection. Machines chosen not for flash, but for feel. When he glides through Manchester in a Rolls-Royce, it isn't arrogance, it's a quiet reminder of what dedication builds. The smooth lines of the Ghost reflect a life polished by discipline. The Mercedes G-Wagon, on bold, commanding, mirrors his strength, his presence. The Range Rover Sport, the family shuttle, embodies balance. Performance meets comfort, power meets responsibility. No neon colors, no unnecessary noise. His garage is a testament to refined taste, luxury lived with purpose. On match days, he may arrive calm and composed, but beneath that stillness lies fire, the kind that powered title after title, season after season. He became the backbone of Manchester City's modern empire, the orchestrator of triumphs that reshaped English football. Premier League crowns lifted with poise, domestic doubles carved with vision, Champions League glory delivered with ice in his veins and steel in his boots. He didn't chase numbers. Numbers chased him, one of the greatest assist makers the game has ever seen. A football scientist, measuring angles, calculating movement, predicting chaos and taming it. And now, in 2025, as the world speculates on his future, Saudi Arabia, MLS, a fairy tale return to Belgium, or another chapter in Europe, Kevin walks with patience. He has earned the right to choose not what pays most, but what feels right. For some players, the twilight years are a soft fade. For Kevin, the twilight could become sunrise, a new league discovering the silent brilliance Manchester enjoyed for a decade. His wealth grows like his career, strategically, intelligently. A net worth beyond $85 million, strengthened by elite contracts, smart endorsements, investments in property, partnerships built on reputation, not noise. He doesn't gamble with fortune. He grows it deliberately, the same way he builds attacks, reading the field, finding the smartest lane, executing with calm certainty. Money to him is not the reward. Freedom is. The freedom to choose his path, to give his family stability, to live without needing to prove anything to anyone ever again. Yet even surrounded by luxury, Kevin never drifts from gratitude. He remembers who he was before the fame, before the medals, before the world learned his name, and he honors that boy, the quiet dreamer with lightning in his boots. With every disciplined morning, every mindful decision, every moment where humility triumphs over ego. There are stars who glitter loudly. Kevin De Bruyne shines like the moon, steady, calm, always present, quietly ruling the night sky. This is not a celebrity lifestyle fueled by spotlight addiction. This is the life of a craftsman, a man who mastered his industry, earned his throne, and built a kingdom defined by elegance, loyalty, intelligence, and love. He has cars, he has mansions, he has wealth that generations will benefit from. But above all, Kevin De Bruyne has peace. And in a world where fame often devours peace, that may be his greatest victory of all. There is a rhythm to Kevin De Bruyne's life, a cadence that blends intensity and calm the way an orchestra blends strings and percussion. To outsiders, footballers live in constant noise, flashing cameras, roaring crowds, relentless speculation. But Kevin found something few in his world ever do: equilibrium, a life where the volume rises when it must, but the tone remains steady, controlled, dignified. His routine reflects the duality of his existence, a warrior by day, a quiet gentleman by night. Mornings begin not with chaos, but with clarity. He wakes early, not because he must, but because stability is his quiet luxury. In a world where success often tempts madness, Kevin lives with structure. Breakfast with family, the hum of conversation around the table, tiny voices reminding him that even superheroes need to tie shoelaces, and pour juice and laugh at cartoons before conquering the world. He packs calm into these moments, storing peace the way others chase adrenaline. Then, like a switch flipping, it's time to work. At the training ground, the softness dissolves, discipline takes shape, focus sharpens. Kevin De Bruyne. The father becomes Kevin De Bruyne, the commander. He trains not to prove he is the best, but because excellence demands constant sharpening. Younger players watch him quietly, absorbing lessons not from speeches, but from precision. When he arrives, boots laced, shoulders straight, eyes cold with intent, the message rings louder than any team talk. Greatness is not loud, greatness is in details. He studies, he stretches, he repeats passing patterns until muscle memory becomes instinct, until instinct becomes masterpiece. His touch in training mirrors a sculptor carving marble, each repetition refining the craft that millions admire on match days. But even here, in the heart of competition, he rarely raises his voice. Leadership, for Kevin, is not dominance. It is integrity. It is showing what discipline looks like. It is arriving early, staying late, speaking only when necessary, but when he does, every ear turns. Teammates speak of him with respect tinged with awe. They mention the quiet nods before big matches, the subtle corrections in tight moments, the way he sees play 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. They speak of the shock, even after years beside him, when a pass appears that didn't seem possible until it already existed. He plays at another speed, they say. He thinks in a different dimension. Rivals echo these sentiments. Defenders dread the pause in his stride, the stillness before the explosion of precision. Because when Kevin slows, the game accelerates. When he stops, the world holds its breath. That ability, the freezing of time, is what separates the gifted from the legendary. Zinedine Zidane had it. Xavi and Iniesta had it. Pirlo had it. And now, Kevin holds that torch. He doesn't dribble to dance. He dribbles to dissect. He doesn't shoot to hope. He shoots to conclude. And every assist is a love letter to football intelligence. The beautiful kind. The thoughtful kind. The kind that ages into historic admiration. Then comes game day. The drive through Manchester, sunlight bouncing off black-tinted windows, the engine humming like a low heartbeat beneath him. Fans gather, scarves raised, chanting his name. But inside the car, silence, stillness, preparation. Not nerves, not tension, just readiness. Because Kevin doesn't arrive to prove, he arrives to execute. The stadium tunnel swallows him, the crowd erupts, uniforms shift into place like armor, and then suddenly he is home. On the pitch, blades of grass beneath his boots, the ball at his feet, and the world becomes mathematics, creativity, instinct, and art. And yet, football takes from the body what the world never sees, pain disguised by pride, fatigue hidden beneath professionalism. Injuries scar every athlete's journey, and Kevin has known them all. The hamstring tears, the ligament strains, the bruised ankles, the muscle fibers screaming from years of elite exertion. Every comeback required patience, every setback demanded resilience. There were days when doubt whispered, days the critics sharpened their knives, but he outlasted them all with the calmness he carries everywhere, because champions don't crumble under pressure, they sculpt pressure into legacy. Through triumph and injury, there has been a constant love. Michelle's steady support, the comfort of family, the sense of belonging that even a billion-dollar career cannot manufacture. In the hardest moments, when cameras disappear and stadiums fall silent, family is the medicine. And when his children run to greet him after a match, win or lose, the universe shrinks into one perfect truth. Greatness means nothing without a place to rest your heart. That's why his luxury is purposeful, not performative. He collects privacy, not attention. He collects moments, not applause. But yes, he also collects excellence. His lifestyle is a catalog of refined tastes earned through unshakable work ethic. His wardrobe is tailored simplicity, clean lines, understated designer details, fabrics that speak softly of sophistication. His vacations are escapes to serene coastlines and private island retreats, where ocean air replaces stadium chants and days stretch without obligation. Yet even then, he flies under the radar, choosing anonymity over spectacle, peace over paparazzi. His wealth affords comfort and security. Investments in property, strategic financial planning, ownership talks, quiet partnerships, a businessman wrapped in athletic grace. Money doesn't rule him, it obeys him. He doesn't chase brand collaborations. Brands court him, knowing his image is built not on drama, but on credibility. And in this phase of his life, 2025 feels like a turning page. The world senses change, whispers future possibilities. MLS lights shining, Saudi gold calling, a romantic return to Belgium tugging at his heart. But Kevin chooses with intention. He doesn't move for vanity. He moves for meaning, for the right project, the right environment for his family, the right chapter to close his story with dignity, not desperation. As he stands at this threshold, one foot in football immortality, the other stepping into life beyond it, Kevin De Bruyne reveals what true success looks like. Not a man drowning in spotlight, but a man illuminated by balance. Not a star chasing applause, but a father chasing presence. Not a footballer defined by the game, but a human defined by the way he lives outside of it. This is Kevin in 2025, a man who conquered football without ever needing to conquer attention. And as the world watches his next step, one thing is clear. Transitions are not endings. For some, they are the doorway to becoming even bigger than the game. There comes a point in a legend's journey where the roar of applause becomes less important than the echo of purpose. It is the stage where trophies stop defining a man and values begin to shine brighter than medals ever could. Kevin De Bruyne arrived at that point in 2025, standing not at the peak of his career, but on the mountaintop of his identity. A man who no longer plays to prove himself, but to honor the gift he's mastered, the discipline he's perfected, and the life he has built brick by brick through consistency, humility, and genius. For every athlete, there are moments that carve themselves into memory, moments that do not fade with time, but glow. For Kevin, those moments travel like constellations in his mind. The first Premier League title, the open-armed celebration under Manchester's sky, teammates piling on him like brothers. That Champions League night, a night where tears blurred the lights, where confetti rained not as celebration, but as vindication. The moment he lifted the trophy, he wasn't smiling. He was breathing. Deeply, slowly. It wasn't joy alone. It was relief, triumph, and a quiet whisper to himself. You did it. After every doubt, every stumble, you did it. And then, of course, the painful moments, the finals he fought through with injury, the nights where muscles tore under the weight of responsibility, the tears behind closed doors when the body betrayed the ambition. People saw the passes, the goals, the trophies, but they did not see the mornings where elastic bands and ice baths became his battlefield, where pain lingered longer than applause. They didn't see Michelle there with steady hands and quiet reassurances, children crawling onto his lap, unaware their father was fighting through more than opponents. He was fighting time, pain, expectations, and legacy. Pain never defeated him. It refined him. That is why today Kevin lives with a grace earned only by enduring without complaining. He carries no resentment, no bitterness, no drama, only gratitude. And that gratitude spills into the world around him. You won't find him chasing headlines or engaging in scandals. His charity runs quiet, his support for communities sincere and unobtrusive. He doesn't need cameras to validate kindness. His legacy carries its own light. And his lifestyle? It mirrors the man. World-class without theatrics. When he vacations, the world barely knows. Private villas on European coastlines, yacht retreats not for show but for silence. Mediterranean sunsets, barefoot mornings on white sand beaches, time moving slowly as family laughter replaces stadium noise. He's not the one popping champagne on super yachts for paparazzi. He's the one sipping espresso on a quiet balcony while waves whisper against the shore and his children chase seagulls along the sand. Luxury for Kevin is not expensive. It is peaceful. Private jets? Yes, but not plastered across social media. They are tools for comfort, not symbols for the world to applaud. He flies to reconnect, to Belgian countryside, to European hideaways, to warm island shores where his body recovers and his soul resets. The jet doesn't scream status. It speaks convenience, time reclaimed, life lived on his schedule, not the world's. Fashion? He wears it not to impress, but to express. Clean lines, minimalist style. Designer pieces chosen not because they shine, but because they fit perfectly. He walks into events looking powerful without trying, elegant without effort, the aura of a man who knows the difference between luxury and attention. His wealth in 2025 stands firm, not loud, not speculative, but structured. Real estate holdings across Europe, long-term sponsorships with elite brands, careful financial planning that ensures generational strength. Kevin doesn't gamble with fortune. He builds it like he builds play, logically, patiently, with vision that sees beyond the moment. Where others flaunt wealth, Kevin compounds it. Quietly, intelligently, masterfully. And then there is his influence, not just in football, but in fatherhood, leadership, and mindset. He teaches by living. His children will never need to guess what discipline looks like. They've seen it in every early morning, every healthy meal, every disciplined recovery routine, every moment he chose family over frenzy. They've seen a man who could be surrounded by thousands, yet choose a dinner table with them. They will grow knowing success is not volume. Success is peace. His teammates talk about the way he changes tempo. Fans talk about the way he bends matches to his will. Coaches talk about how he sees passing angles that don't exist for anyone else. And rivals, even rivals, speak of him with respect. They don't envy his fortune. They admire his purity. Because Kevin never tried to be a celebrity. He tried to be excellent. And he succeeded beyond measure. 2025 also brings curiosity. Where does a maestro go when the symphony begins to soften? Does he move to a rising football nation and become its crown jewel? Does he return home and finish where it all began? Or does he simply choose life, traveling, mentoring, investing, and watching his children play in the yard without needing to lace boots for battle again? Whatever he chooses, we know one thing. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't fade. He transitions. Legends don't retire. They evolve. He will leave not as a player seeking applause, but as a master who completed the art. He will walk away not with noise, but with dignity. His family beside him, his legacy intact, his peace untouched. The world will keep talking long after he stops playing, because he didn't just write stats, he wrote standards. He proved you can dominate without arrogance. He proved you can win without chaos. He proved you can be loved without forcing the spotlight. He proved talent may excite, but character sustains. And so in the luxurious calm of his 2025 lifestyle, surrounded by comfort, anchored by family, respected across continents, Kevin De Bruyne stands not as a footballer, but as a man who built his life like his game, with clarity, with precision, with elegance, with purpose. He lives like he passes, thoughtfully, beautifully, with meaning behind every choice. And that, far more than wealth or fame, is the true definition of success. There are careers that glitter, and then there are careers that glow. Glitter dazzles for a moment under bright lights, Glow remains even after the lights fade. Kevin De Bruyne walks in 2025 not as a man chasing spotlight, but as one carrying his own light. And the world sees it, not in the noise of trends or the flash of headlines, but in the quiet awe of generations who know they watched something rare, something refined, something quietly eternal. Football gave him the world, the stadiums, the medals, the global stage, the chants that still echo across the Etihad. But what Kevin gave football was far more precious, a new definition of control, a reimagining of midfield genius, a reminder that intelligence can silence even the loudest giants. He didn't rise because he wanted to be adored. He rose because excellence was the only standard he recognized. And in 2025, as his boots trace the final chapters of his playing days, that excellence no longer looks like hunger. It looks like fulfillment. Look at him now, a man who walks with the ease of someone who has already answered every question the game could ask. There is no desperation in his stride, no fear in his eyes, no clinging to glory. When he ties his boots before a match now, it is not to prove he belongs. It is to enjoy the art he spent a lifetime mastering. When he steps onto the pitch, crowd roaring, cameras zooming, commentators searching for superlatives, he breathes, calm and steady, as if to say, "I've been here before. I know this place, and I am at peace." Peace, the greatest luxury an athlete can earn. It is rarer than titles, more valuable than contracts. It is the reward only the few who played honestly, humbly, relentlessly ever touch. Kevin earned it through storms, through injuries that bent him but never broke him, through criticism that he rose above, through doubt that he answered with silence and brilliance. And now he lives each day not chasing legacy, but living in it. Each morning with his family is a reminder that time, not money, is the real currency of life. Each school drop-off, each casual morning coffee with Michelle, each moment sitting on the floor building toy castles with his children. These are the trophies beyond the trophies. For many athletes, life begins after retirement. For Kevin, life has always been bigger than football, and that is why the transition will never steal his peace. But even beyond the personal, he stands as a blueprint. To young players, he is a map. Proof that you don't need scandal to be interesting, ego to be powerful, or controversy to be remembered. He is the modern standard for what a professional can be. Sharp, disciplined, humble, loyal. In an era obsessed with viral moments, he built a legacy on consistency. In a world chasing fame, he chose respect. In a football era where many confuse noise with presence, he taught that stillness can be the loudest force of all. And what about wealth? Yes, he has built an empire, quietly, intelligently, without waste or pretense. Net worth approaching 9 figures, property portfolios across Europe, investments that strengthen generational security, partnerships with global brands rooted in trust, not hype. He is the rare star who understood early, money makes you rich, choices make you wealthy. And he chose wisely, always. As he looks ahead, the game may no longer command him, but it will forever orbit his legacy. Will he coach? Possibly. His mind, sharp as ever, could redefine sideline brilliance. Will he mentor? Almost certainly. The world needs more Kevin De Bruynes. Will he become an ambassador for the sport? A respected voice shaping football's future? Very likely. But whatever direction he selects, it will be chosen with the same precision he used to carve open defenses, the same calm authority that defined his style. And one day, when the boots are hung, when the final whistle has blown not just on a match, but on a career, he will walk into the next chapter with no fear, no regret, only gratitude. Because Kevin didn't borrow greatness, he earned it. He didn't stumble into legacy, he built it. Brick by brick, pass by pass, moment by moment, with grace. Picture him years from now, a sunny morning in Belgium or a crisp one in Manchester, walking through a garden with his children running ahead, Michelle smiling beside him. No cameras, no crowd. Just peace. And somewhere in the world, a kid will lace up boots, stand on a pitch, see space others don't, and whisper the name they grew up admiring. De Bruyne. That, more than any trophy, is immortality. So here stands Kevin De Bruyne in 2025, not a man surrounded by noise, but a monument surrounded by quiet reverence, a champion who could have shouted but chose silence, a superstar who could have demanded the world's attention but chose his family first, a master of the game who left his fingerprint on history, not in chaos, but in clarity. He lives in luxury, yes, homes of elegance, cars of power and refinement, wealth earned through brilliance and discipline. But luxury is not what defines him. Love does, legacy does, integrity does. There are kings of moments, and then there are architects of eras. Kevin De Bruyne was never here to be loud. He was here to be lasting, and he succeeded. His story reminds us that true power is not in how loudly you shine, but in how long your light remains. And long after the stadium lights dim, the world will still feel the glow of Kevin De Bruyne, the calm storm, the silent genius, the artist of time, and the man who proved greatness doesn't need volume. It only needs truth. And his truth will echo forever,